definitely talk to you. At the end of the day, it's ham radio. It's a hobby. I'm really sorry and upset that I missed that K1LEM this morning, because every time I hear him, it just solidifies the fact that I'm sane and he's a psychotic, crazy person.
Well, when we make that, you have to realize something. I don't think he's as psychotic as you say there, Mario. And I think he is of a criminal mind. Okay, but afraid to pick up the knife. Okay, and put it between somebody's ribs. Okay, I don't think he has to use his mental faculties to do the insane things that what you would call insane things that he does. So I'm in agreement with you on that side of it. I would just characterize it differently, and that is that most people love psychobabble excuses, like to plead insanity, which just becomes an excuse that even the public domain has bought into this narrative, this nonsense. Do you believe that the Colorado shooter who planned everything, wrote notes, set bombs before in his apartment for the police to be blown up when he came after he did the Colorado shooting and did all that pre-planning? Do you think for 1 minute that guy's insane? He had to use all of his mental faculties, okay, for a socially destructive purpose that showed that. So he demonstrated his sanity, or not insanity. And by the way, the jury didn't buy it either. The ordinary common folks don't buy it, but we'd have all these psychologists and psychiatrists on that would buy that nonsense. So I'm just making a little intellectual argument with you, or not a personal argument in any way. That let's not give this guy this credibility by making an excuse for it. His criminality. He's still a criminal. Here's the evidence of it. He daily, almost every day, he goes on. There isn't a time that he doesn't continue to lambaste the FCC, but now he's a very obedient boy, okay, who identifies his call sign every day here, Mario, and so he's very, very obedient to the FCC outwardly, but inwardly he still has a criminal intentions to violate the laws. He's even expressed that almost daily here on the frequency. So there's no change in the person whatsoever, and it takes all of his mental capacities and faculties to plan how he's going to get away talking about how he doesn't want to conform himself to the FCC and continue to talk about it. It takes his mental capacities to do that, to demonstrate he isn't insane. Okay, he's just criminal, KD8IU.
Sorry, I used the wrong word. Sociopath is what I meant. Anyway, well, you know how I feel about that. I think I made it clear on the recording, and if you don't remember, Stan, you can listen to the YouTube, and the world knows now that I like you. I do not like him, and I will not be here if he's on here, and I am not. And I was upset at Cormers yesterday. I don't think that's the right way to go about it, and I stated that fact to the Cormers out there, whoever they may be. That's not the way to go about it. If you don't like something, you go away.
You should know the FCC regulations better.
I'm sorry. Are you talking while I'm talking?
Yes, I did. I interrupted there, Mario. Yes, I did. And I did hear everything you say. And please finish your thought, okay, KD8IU?
It's tough to make a statement when you're talking. And I can't believe that you can talk and hear me at the same time. That's just almost impossible.
Well, it was it was a matter of seconds between thoughts there, and I might have missed one word of one sentence or something like that, maybe 2 words, but I did get the idea of everything you said, over.
Okay, because then you're just like him, and he'll get on here with his buddies and talk over them. They don't realize this. I wish somebody would oust him for the tyrant that he is, but again, you're drawing me back. You're like the mob, I try to get out, and you always draw me back in, Stan.
Oh, well, then that's Mario. Well, you don't have to participate. I'm just bringing you to logic here, okay? This is quite, I don't want to use the word irrational because, well, it isn't really, it's irrational in this sense. It doesn't make sense, okay? If I'm drawing you back in, you're blaming me for what you do. You don't have to talk to me at all, Mario. Okay, that was purely your choice. Okay, so now all you're blaming me for the fact that you continue to talk to me. That's what anybody that would, a Judge Judy would conclude. In other words, you produced the forensic evidence right before her by your statements, okay, that show that. No, I'm not interested in picking on you personally and destroying your character, Mary. Okay, I will talk to anybody on the handbands. Okay, and others tell me not to talk to them. Okay, W1IT tells me who to talk to, not to talk to you. You tell me to not talk to W1IT. It's just my orientation is I will speak to anybody. I even go on some Saturdays. I even go and talk to people in jail. There, my friend. I even go and talk to them in prison, in a local penitentiary here. I go and speak with them, okay, and I'm rather direct with them there, Mario. Very good. So yes, by the way, Mario, just a little bit of thought here is when you said a sociopath is a psychological designation. A sociopath is a personality disorder. That's a broad classification for a whole bunch of subtopics, including narcissistic personality disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, and all of that. So in the meantime, I don't know if you might think about when you said that, maybe you agree with me. Okay, you brought up another psychological category. Okay, like went from, he's just insane, which would give him an excuse for his criminality. Now all of a sudden you go to he's just a sociopath. Sociopath is another the Psychological Association of the United States has sociopath included as one of its personality disorder designations. So that's another way of saying he's insane again. And you thought you were saying the opposite, Mario. That's the logic I was referring to. That we need to be more logical in our thinking rather than emotional and reactionary. And think about the words we say and what they mean. So that we don't discredit ourselves there, Mario.
KC2 will be returning. Yeah. Okay, very good. No, I think I pretty much know what the words mean and what comes out of my mouth. I don't have to think about it too much. I know what I said and I know what it means. And you were exactly right. You described both terms correctly. And I do mean it. But what I was getting to is I was just answering your question about the conversation that took place this morning that I did not take part in. I only heard you and the tuner-upper. That was it. And I'll be glad to talk to you. Well, there's people like you and Harry and what's his name down in Delaware, John. They'll talk to anybody, absolutely anybody. Whether the person, see what I dislike is the beating down of people, the cursing, all that stuff. That doesn't belong on ham radio. And I honestly think that politics and religion doesn't belong on ham radio either until specific frequencies. There are Bible, Bible study groups and all, and that's all fine and dandy, and I'm all for it or whatever. I just refuse to take part in it, just as I refuse to take part in anything, and it's not W1IT. You need to scratch that off and use K1LEM. Just say it a couple times, you'll get it.
We're talking about the same guy.
The way they present themselves and the way they act on the radio. I dislike it, so I won't be here if he's here. If he's here before me for whatever reason, I can go anywhere I want. Good. So there's no need for me to take the abuse from him and him abusing other people. It's not something I like to listen to. So I think I've stated that maybe 20 times.
Yeah,
so that's how I feel.
Absolutely right. By the way, that's an area where you and I could disagree. I don't, let me put it this way. I wouldn't have taken action in hand and gone to the FCC and reported W1IT and his failure to identify to the FCC and follow up with exchanges, with messages with the FCC there. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have exactly the same concern you have, about the inappropriate language. I got over 70 recordings here of him using repetitively 6, 7, 8 times the F word. Okay, all of the and the S word. Okay, and during a regular daylight, there's sort of a out that the FCC gives that gives you the idea it might be able to that language might be able to be used after 10 o'clock at night when there are no kids around. Anyway, I've got this all recordings during the day, and so I wouldn't have gone to the FCC if I wasn't in total agreement with you about that point. Mario. So W1IT is, there's an old saying, you keep your friends close, but you keep your enemies even closer. And I have a very good selfish reason to keep my enemy, K1LEM, you're right about that, very close. Okay, and that is, very good reason to keep him close, Mario. And that is that I would lose my First Amendment right. Okay, the ARL can't help its legacy. It has a legacy of being after the philosophy of its founder, Brucey Maxim, who basically instructed the FCC to try to put language in the Telecommunications Act back in the 30s. Okay, to deal with, to have people not talk about politics or religion. Okay, now you and the ARL, ARL's in the habit of that. Okay, but the FCC has even taught a new lesson since even a new lesson, and that is that First Amendment speech is protected. Okay, they won't get near that anymore, like Hollingsworth did. They now realize they may not like the fact it's protected, but all of a sudden it makes their attorneys at the FCC very uncredible. So I am here to protect K1LEM's right to spew his venom, his inappropriate venom against the FCC, out here, and show that he resents having to identify as call sign. It's so great to hear him absolutely obedient to the law, identifying every 10 minutes to being a good child whose mind was not changed by having a woodshed experience. And that shows the criminality of or intent of true criminals show their real colors, just like the Colorado killer there. I'm not saying W1IT is a murderer or killer. Okay, I've never heard him make death threats. Okay, but plain and simple, I'm so much in agreement with you. That's why I turned him in the first place. But I lose my rights. I'm good and selfish here for the right reasons. If W1IT doesn't have the right to speak his nonsense, I don't have any right to speak my common sense or my nonsense. And you don't either. I have demonstrated, I'm sure, some nonsensical statements here this morning. I think most of them were probably came out of the laundry clear. Okay, but clear. They came out of the laundry clear, Mario. And I think you made one or two that weren't so clear. But the point is that you have a right to say them, Mario. So I defend you at the same point I defend K1LEM, KD and I. And myself. Who cares?
Okay, apparently the peanut gallery's out again this morning. KD8IUU, KC2ZGW and QSO. And yes, we are recording and reporting. Well, I hate to think that Guglielmo Marconi, with his experiments in wireless telegraphy, or telegraphy, as some people may say, wasted his time with this communication stuff. And I hate to see that go to waste. I enjoy ham radio fully. I'm very active mobile. I talk to at least 100 people every day, between 2 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters, 40 meters, but I do work, and I do have to leave soon, so I'll try to make it brief. But I just, I understand the people that are, retired and have nothing to do but sit there on the radio. That's all fine and dandy. Everybody can do whatever they want because they are masters of their own domain. And ever since, the U.S. started licensing people back in 1912, it's been like that, But if you talk to somebody that's been at it for a long, long time, they will not curse, they will not argue, they will be collegial, as that idiot says all the time, he uses that word one more time, I'm going to kill myself. Most people are collegial. He is not. He is not. He says he is. So he's a talking contradiction to me. That's all I'm going to say about that. Otherwise, I have, you want to know my barometric pressure?
Oh, what about barometric pressure? You're making a point there, Larry. Go ahead.
I was wondering if you wanted to know my barometric pressure, because I think last time you joined the net and you took part in it, that's what one of the topics was. The other topic was who wears the pants in the family, over?
Oh, okay. Very good. Yes, the barometric pressure is something that I think we got plenty of web resources to get them in a matter of 2 to 3 seconds. The barometric pressure of any part of the country, and I think it's kind of silly for ham radio operators. That's my view, but they have a right to state the barometric pressure, and that's maybe why I won't go to the nuts, bolts, and screws. Maybe you guys meant your barometric pressure, temperature, and all the things that I could get right off of AccuWeather.com in about 2 seconds about your location, Mary. If I wanted to know, I don't need somebody to tell me what it is in your neck of the woods there, Maria.
Wonderful.
88 IUU, over.
Yeah, I think you understand where I'm getting, where the point is getting there. We did that just for you, just for you. I dedicated the whole hour to you and the barometric pressure, just to show you that even something as silly as that can be amicable and courteous and still be part of ham radio. And we don't have to, get in an argument about barometric pressure or whatever, But anyway, you guys have been at it since, 5 years now? So you guys keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy yourselves, get all the arguments and eloquency of your speech and all that. That's fine and dandy. I haven't heard Stanley in a while. Have you?
I'm Stanley. You haven't heard Peter, you mean? Do you mean Peter, over?
No, I'm sorry. Not Jules. The guy the guy lives near me in
Kennesaw,
New Jersey. What the heck was his name? Because of the J.
Oh, NNJ. Okay, New Jersey. Yes, that would be Peter. That's KC2QIM. You haven't heard him. He was on this morning as well. By the way, Mario, one thing I just put it this way is I do share some things that I agree with W1IT about. Okay, and I share very much things that most everything that he says I disagree about. Okay, so back to you, Mario. So he is very, let's put it this way, is one of the areas that I do agree with him about. He is properly, demographically, accurately, identifying, but he's actually destructive to ham radio, what's left of it. But this is like a Model T hobby. This hobby is dying, will probably eventually die. Okay, I hope it doesn't. Okay, but it will eventually die, and his reasons that he gives for that are supported by the democratic facts of the slow rate of people becoming ham radio operators. It's actually declining. Now, granted, the population slightly increased last year of all amateur radio operators all over the world, but it did not increase throughout. So you have to give even your enemy a credit for the actual facts. Now, does he have, so him in the meantime, making a mountain out of a molehill? We have people who collect Model Ts. They're multimillionaires, these guys who collect Model Ts. They're multimillionaires. It's an obsolete hobby. One day you may not be able to license a radio operation anymore. Okay, Mario, Katie, IFU for ID. You may not be able to. Okay, just like you can't in some states license an old Model T. But this is, a place, this is a precursor for the Internet, this hobby was. And some of us like to have our Model Ts, and they will become collector's items one of these days, even if the FCC eventually, maybe 10 years or so, starts to take away radio frequencies and disconnect the hobby and break up the spectrum and use it for something else. Nonetheless, our antiques will be worth all that much more, and we'll still be in the hobby even if we don't have radio there. But so I'm in agreement with a few things about him. But in the meantime, he does, sociopath. That's on the right direction in one sense, in terms of giving him a psychological excuse for his discreet behavior. It doesn't at all. Okay, shouldn't be giving him any credit for that by putting a psychological name on him for his criminal heart. But what he does is he does have a socially destructive bent. Okay? That is it doesn't matter what society. If it wasn't ham radio, that kind of person, I won't say personality, that kind of person.
Do you have anything new to say today?
Okay, that kind of person is now on the frequency right now. Mario.
That's what he does the best. He loves to interfere.
A different venue and finding a different venue if there was no ham radio to be that destructive.
Stanley, ho-hum.
He loves to interfere. All right, I got to go to work. You have a good time with your buddy there in South Carolina. And you got a good signal here. And what was I going to say? Joel. That's the name I was looking for. Joel. Remember him? I haven't talked to him in a while. KC2ZW. And I'm clear on this one, too. I don't want to be around with that idiot. So have a good day, and you guys enjoy yourself. You deserve each other.
Oh, God. You know, he's just on here, and the only person he has in life is...
Good morning, Mario.
He feeds
Hello,
from
Rick.
upstairs, you know, I mean, my God. But anyway, that's okay, Stanley. I have
Pretty clear frequency this morning, I think.
Yeah, I only hear you. Anyway, I got to go, guys. I got to go to work. 73 Stan.
On this guy that Peter's life.
And Rick, your call in 3TJ 73. Have a good day.
All right, I have some information on it, Stan, if you'd like to write it down.
Okay, let's see. 7-3 there, Mario. 7-3. I have to talk right through this guy who would not even allow you to speak there.
Probably threatened Peter's life. If you want me to tell you what I found out so far.
Well, you know, you're like a broken clock there. With your accuracy, your batting average is extremely small. You know, major leaguers hit in the 300s, or in the upper 300s once in a great while. Hardly ever get near 400. So, but yours is down in the less than 10% in terms of the times that you're correct. And I think we could bring object after object of discussion.